Hi, thank you so much for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. Again, there might be some loud noises in the background of this video just because they are yet again doing the lawns outside. I don't know why. It's been a week. Grass doesn't grow that fast, but this might be a regular thing where every single week on, of course, the day that I film, they are going to be working out there. So I apologize in advance for any loud noises in the background. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And in a society that is so obsessed with health, it's a shame that mental health isn't always held equal to general health. When you hear the words mental health or mental issues, there are some issues or disorders that definitely come to mind. The more common ones like depression, bipolar, borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, OCD, anxiety, and so on. I don't think a lot of people realize that eating disorders fall under the same category as mental health disorders. Not only is eating disorders a mental health issue, it is the mental health disorder that claims the most lives of any other mental illness. I think a lot of people think things like anorexics just don't eat, bulimics just throw up, orthorexics are just obsessed with healthy foods, and binge eaters just don't know when to stop. Well, people who think like that are completely and dead wrong. Those things are just physical symptoms of a much bigger problem. Eating disorders start in the mind and they become all-consuming. They take over all aspects of your life to the point where you don't know where you end and the eating disorder begins. It's almost like you and the eating disorder kind of just mesh together and they form one scary monster. You are molded into a new being, a being that no longer thinks or acts for yourself. You find yourself having thoughts that feel not quite like your own, but you think to yourself, these thoughts are in my head, so they must be my own. These thoughts can come out of nowhere and they can be scary, and it can be scary when you don't know what you're thinking. You don't know if you're thinking these things or you're believing these things, or if the eating disorder has reformed your mind to believe these things. It's a horrible feeling not being able to live your own life and not being able to differentiate between your life and the eating disorder's life, because again, they have molded and melded into one. I mentioned eating disorders claim the most lives of all mental illnesses. How are eating disorders so fatal? First of all, eating disorders are often misdiagnosed. Eating disorders share a lot of the same signs and symptoms as the more common mental health issues. And so a lot of the time, doctors diagnose sufferers with those mental health issues and they don't ever kind of pinpoint the eating disorder or diagnose the eating disorder. And it's a very big problem when you are receiving treatment for something that you might not even have, and you are ignoring and you're not addressing the real issue. So the eating disorder is never treated and you can never recover because you think you have something else. Second, if an eating disorder goes untreated, a person can die from starvation, organ failure, dehydration, or malnutrition. And lastly, suicide. When you no longer feel like you can fight this and you are completely overwhelmed by fear and anxiety and you feel trapped in your own head and your own mind and you feel like you have no control over what you do, what you say, or what you believe, it comes to a point where ending it all seems like the easiest thing to do to end all of that pain and suffering. 1 in 5 sufferers lose their life to an eating disorder. No one wants to be a statistic, and being that statistic is forever. A little while back, I was thinking about the term committing suicide. And I thought to myself, that's an interesting term. Why do we say committing suicide? And committing comes from the word commitment. And when you kill yourself, you are committing to death. You are committing to the end. You are making a life commitment to something that you can't take back. And that's what I mean by this statistic is forever. And this is a statistic that no one should want to be, and I don't think anyone does want to be. But again, 1 in 5 sufferers of an eating disorder will lose their life. The biggest factor that is keeping that statistic alive is the fact that people are not addressing eating disorders for what they are. They are a mental health issue. But why are people leaving eating disorders off the list of mental health issues? I think the reason why is because people see eating disorders as a physical ailment, a behavioral disorder, not mental. People neglect the fact that eating disorders are far more complex than that. They are a medically diagnosable and psychiatric disease. Eating disorders hold grave life, relational, and medical consequences. Eating disorders are not fads, they are not phases, and they are not lifestyle choices, no matter what anyone says. Eating disorders cause extreme emotions, behaviors, and thoughts towards food and eating and weight. They are extreme emotional and physical issues that can lead to life-crippling and life-threatening consequences. Anyone can develop an eating disorder regardless of gender, age, race, background, upbringing, social status, sexual orientation, culture, or ethnicity. They influence your behavior and your choices. They overwhelm your feelings and your thoughts. They dictate what you do, say, and think. It's easy to disregard eating disorder sufferers and just say, well, they just need to eat, or they just need to get over themselves. They need to stop being so self-absorbed. But by doing so, you are ignoring a very, very serious issue. It's like saying depressed people are just sad and they need to get over it. It's important that we take mental health, and I mean all mental health, seriously. During Mental Health Awareness Month, I think it's a good idea to research aspects of mental health that you know very little about, and to educate yourself and understand that everybody is going through something. Some people hide it better than others, and it's important that we not judge and we not say, oh, your problems are any less than mine. We're all on the same playing field. We're all just trying to survive, and we're all just trying to live our lives to the fullest. And I think the more we research into aspects and issues that maybe we personally don't suffer from, the more we can help other people. And I think that's what Mental Health Awareness Month is all about, is learning how we can help others, and then in turn that helps us. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you learned anything, please give it a thumbs up. For more videos about diets and eating disorders, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!